You guys know that one of my most anticipated horror titles coming out, guys, is the Outlast Trials. I'm so excited about this. This is one of my most anticipated games now of 2021. And as we go, guys, I want to talk more and more about this title and like all that it really overall, what it's going to pretty much all include for us, and what are the things that we may not know about right now that we can certainly speculate about. So in this last segment of the show, guys, I want to talk about the Outlast Trials, and will this title be free to play? So let's talk about it. So guys, as we break this down, Outlast and Outlast 2, obviously these titles are different because this isn't a direct continuation of the first two games. This is set in a Cold War era, and it's pretty much separate. It's in the same universe as Outlast, but it of course it's set in a different time period, and how it all is going to connect to the main story, if it does, is going to be something quite interesting for us to experience. But what I'm getting at here is that just because Outlast and Outlast 2 were one thing, or they were pay to play essentially, doesn't necessarily mean that the Outlast Trials is going to be. Most likely it will, guys. When we think about it, most likely it's going to be a pay to play game. But I think that there is possibility that this could be a free-to-play title. I would probably say that it most likely won't be, but you can never say never, guys. This is a title that I think a lot of us are really excited about, and I think that Red Barrel, they want to make sure that this game does really well for them. Look, from Outlast 1 to Outlast 2, Outlast 2 was a little bit down from the first game, right? And so I think what we can all what we can probably agree upon is that, they needed to kind of change up the formula. And they absolutely did that here with the Outlast Trials. Now, does that mean that they're not going to make it, a pay-to-play game? That doesn't necessarily mean that. What I'm getting at is they're making an aggressive approach to change the formula here a little bit with the Outlast Trials, and which is Outlast in general. So, I would probably say, guys, it's probably not going to be a free-to-play game. However, you can never say never, and I think that, as we look at this, if they add multiplayer elements, which I think that this game looks like it's going to be primed for multiplayer experience, especially because it's going to be mainly a co-op game. Think about, it being like somewhat of a Dead by Daylight, but in the Outlast universe. I think that could be something really special. But having that in a free-to-play format, guys, think of all the AAA titles that are out there that are free-to-play right now that are absolutely like larger-than-life games at this point and have made so much money for the developers. I mean, that would almost guarantee a continuation of this franchise if they made it free-to-play, because I would bet that Outlast Trials would be one of the biggest horror games for at least a period of time, guys, after it would go free to play. Everyone would at least try it out, especially if it was free to play. Now, we don't know, is this going to be going on to consoles? Is it going to be going on just PC? How is that going to work? Is it going to be a VR as well? These are all question marks. And so I think that, we're not going to know the entire scope here of the Outlast Trials until we get closer, right? And it doesn't come out until 2021, but we can certainly speculate, like I said. Free to play, guys. Do you think that the Outlast Trials is going to be a free to play title? I could give you a bunch of reasons why it should be. I could give you a bunch of reasons why it shouldn't be. But at the end of the day, between the multiplayer elements, what they're going to try to obviously do with co-op, we don't know if they're doing multiplayer, but co-op at least. And then as far as the story's concerned, could they be adding a bunch of customization, options as well as earnable items within the game from a co-op perspective or a multiplayer perspective? That could also really help when they're trying to promote it as a free-to-play model. But like I said, guys, don't expect a free-to-play game here out of the Outlast Trials, but I do think, as far as the developers are concerned, this is something that should be talked about at least, and I'm sure they are talking about it over there, but I just think that you really need to look at this and look at the pros and cons to it. And if they feel that, look, Outlast isn't a big enough title yet for us to make it free to play, then of course, people are going to justify paying the money, the $60 price tag for the game. But at the end of the day, I think that if you're going to pay $60, it better be a full package deal, in my opinion. It needs to be a campaign. obviously a full-fledged out campaign, of course. Having some co-op modes, having multiplayer modes would obviously, make it a full package there. And I think multiplayer, guys, is what's going to bring people back to the game over and over again in the future. And so that's why I think you have to put real emphasis on multiplayer, even though obviously you want the story to be really good as well. But let me know, guys. Would you guys want to see the Outlast Trials free to play, or do you think it needs to be a pay to play in order for it to be a really, really good game? Let me know what you guys think, and I would love to have a real conversation about it. And for more The Outlast Trials content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.